All right, some of the biggest names in the MAGA world are openly calling out the Trump admin for refusing to release the Epstein files. They're playing this weird game of cat and mouse, and keep in mind, the director of the FBI is Kash Patel. The deputy director of the FBI is a man named Dan Bongino, who was one of the largest right-wing podcasters until Trump did what he does best and plucked him straight out of the media world and put him into an incredibly vital and important position. But I mean, read this post from Red Pill USA, who is a right-wing, it's a right-wing account on Twitter. It says, FBI bigwigs Kash Patel and Dan Bongino just sold out on Fox, swearing Epstein offed himself. X is raging. Patriots wanted truth, not the swamp's tired script. Are you buying this suicide BS or smelling a cover-up? And then they post a photo of Trump and Epstein next to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino's Fox interview. Now, they just did another Fox interview trying to play even more cleanup, but let's start with the first one, because every political movement eventually creates true believers, and that's what this video is sort of about. Not just the casual Republican voters who would have voted for Mike Pence either way. I'm talking about the true believers, the people who are so invested in the mythology that they believe it deep down in their core, the type of people that will raid the Capitol for the President of the United States. You see it in cults or conspiracy circles or in Jim Jones, like People's Temple, whatever the hell. But now the true believers are turning on the Trump admin because they want to see the actual Epstein files. Check out this clip.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
And
the way they say it is so insane. It's like he's admitting of some insane thing.
Housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the most prevalent theory based on all the investigations. Lord have mercy. What is this crazy response from a truther think tank? Right, I call bullshit. Epstein didn't kill himself when all the cameras were mysteriously turned off. All the guards were drugged and put to sleep. Were the guards drugged? That was never revealed in any investigation. But when Trump's FBI, led by Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, were forced to say Epstein likely killed himself, there was a lot of MAGA backlash, and they just did another interview where they had to follow up. But just to go into a little bit more of the backlash, Alex Jones said, overall, I think Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are doing a great job. But on this claim that Epstein's death is not a cover-up, I call bullshit. And then Alex Jones posts one of his conspiracy theory boards that he makes for liberals, but he's now making it for the Trump admin. It has Kash Patel, it has Trump FBI Director James Comey. What are all these randomly circled words? And none of this means anything. You can't just circle a bunch of words and act like it's a narrative or it's a story. And then Laura Loomer says, ladies and gentlemen, the Trump-appointed Attorney General of the United States just blocked me on X because I'm holding her accountable for lying about the release of the Epstein files. Wait till you find out she lobbied for Qatar, the same Qatar that harbors Hamas. She did lobby for Qatar. She's also the one that green-lit Trump's jet, his $400 million jet. It's pure corruption. This brings us on to the new interview with Kash Patel. Take a listen.
The thing on the internet is the Epstein files. What's the answer to that?
The answer to that is the same as everything else. I'm not going to withhold information from the American public ever. But I'm also not going to rush to get it out there in a format in which they can't rely on it. So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that. And it takes time to go through years of investigations, years of political maneuvering, and years of cover-up to get the American people what they deserve. And that's what I'm going to give them on everything.
Yeah.
Here's the translation for what he's saying. He's going to continue to run away and refuse to release the files under the guise of bureaucracy. He's going to say the government is too bureaucratic. The deep state isn't really allowing him to release the files when they have a monopoly. They have all the power right now. I mean, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. You have Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. They could release whatever they wanted. And really quickly, just to back up, I want to do two things. I want to give you my opinion on if Jeffrey Epstein killed himself or not. But first, I just want to say a quick moment of gratitude. Thank you to everybody who watches my videos, who's helped build this community. If you want to help build it even further, you can drop a like. Subscribe. We're going to be making some huge moves soon to make sure that we are building the left-leaning media ecosystem that's needed to win back in the midterms and in 2028 and beyond. We will work relentlessly, put out the volume needed to spread the truth. Make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, and let's just start here. Do I think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? Actually, yeah. I think it's very, very likely Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. I know it's not sexy and it's not what gets clicks, but it's the most reasonable and evidence-supported explanation we have. I think that when one of the most powerful men on earth, he went from like billion-dollar penthouses and mingling with presidents and celebrities to a concrete cell where he was facing life in prison, probably daily abuse, getting the shit beat out of him, which he should get the shit beat out of him, destruction of his name, and no life beyond that. He probably killed himself. He was a narcissist with nowhere to run. It's something called Occam's razor. The simplest explanation is likely the truth. Do I believe that the guards were so drugged out that there was a perfect, do I believe the Alex Jones conspiracy theory? Probably not. There's no direct evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered. There are weird inconsistencies, but there are a lot of inconsistencies in a lot of cases. The leap from like glitchy cameras to Hillary Clinton sent a hit squad is just sort of a leap. Okay, but to continue back with the main story, there's another clip. Brett Baer pushing even harder.
Truth.
But there is a lot of conspiracy theories out there.
There are.
The Epstein thing, you dealt with Maria, you said, as far as you know, he killed himself.
I'm telling you, he killed himself.
The other
It like pains them to say that. It pains them to tell the truth. Alex Jones on another show then comes out and says, obviously Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino's body language in that interview looks like a hostage video. You know what? I actually kind of agree with what he's saying there. It does kind of look like a hostage video.
You said.
Look at their body language in this. Look at the way Dan Bongino.
You know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself.
What? It does look kind of like a hostage video, but I don't think they're being held hostage. Here's Patel talking about Comey.
And that's just a bonus. Do you know how many copycats we've had to investigate as a result of that beachside venture from the former director?
Is that right?
The beachside venture from the former director were seashells in the formation of 86 and 47. You've had to investigate hundreds of people that put beach shell, like what? It's absolutely absurd. And just to end this all off, I want to say that the true believers that I talked about at the beginning of the video believed Trump was the guy who would rip the system open and expose the truth. They thought he was going to end the wars, slash the debt, declassify the Epstein files, lower prices on day one, and unleash the truth. Well, he didn't end the wars. Actually, more wars have sparked. He didn't slash the debt. They're about to do the exact opposite and add to the debt. He didn't declassify the files. People are mad at that. Obviously, he didn't lower the prices at all. When it comes to ending the wars, he's floated plans of sending more troops to our allied countries. So it's all a lie. The Trump administration has to reckon with the monster that they created. When you build a movement on distrust of the government, the distrust will eventually turn inwards. And you know what? We are going to continue to apply pressure on the Trump admin as they mess up on a daily basis. It's weird. Like, these conspiracy theorists don't care about the actual problems. I would rather make videos about like Signalgate and Pete Hegseth's lying and the wiretapping, the illegal wiretapping. There are many, many real things that we could talk about. And this is real too, of course, but like, it's just funny what Alex Jones focuses on when there's a lot of bigger fish to fry. I'll leave it at that. Drop a like, subscribe. Love you all, and peace out.